What's up, everyone? How is everybody doing today? Hopefully, you are feeling a little better, seeing as that we got some exciting news, and we're going to get into all of that. This is Tea Time with Robyn, and normally I'm up there, and today I'm just kind of calm, kind of just feeling it out and seeing how this is going to flow. Me and Robyn is here, and we're just going to talk. We're just going to talk. How you doing, Robyn?
Yeah, wow. Loaded question for, for once. Usually it's kind of like automatic, right? Oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing good, let's go. Um, I don't know how I am. I'm not sure how I feel, right now. It's been an ongoing, we talked about this before recording, it's been an ongoing train wreck that we've been watching, for the last couple of days. And it just keeps going. And we're not sure where it's going right now. The good news is, and we did get some good news this morning, that Damar
Mm-hmm.
Hamlin's signs neurologically are improving. And that is absolutely terrific news. But we have to back up a bit and talk about what happened to all of us
Mm-hmm.
on Monday night. You know, Damar Hamlin's condition went from playing, we talked about this, 1 minute
Mm-hmm.
you're in the middle of a football game, everybody's watching. He's doing what he wants to do in his life, and everything changes in a moment.
Yeah.
And I had some people on social media say things like, oh, well, other people have had this happen. Why are we making such a big deal about this? Blah, blah, blah. And part of the reason I thought we should, when we talked about whether or not we should do a podcast, I'm thinking, we really should, if we can, if we're both up to it and feeling like we can do this. But it's important for us to have this discussion because this wasn't just an injury on the field.
Right.
This was a young man who died on the
Right.
field and was resuscitated and taken to the hospital and given the very, very best care that anybody could possibly receive in terms of medical, intervention. But at the same time, here we are a couple days later, we still don't know what happened,
Right.
from a medical perspective.
And let's give some kudos and some flowers to the reaction of the EMTs, the Buffalo Bills medical staff, the Bengals medical staff. Like they went in and just reacted and was just. I mean, how many times have they done this in training and was like, "It's probably will never happen." We got it. No, and then the way they just instantly just got in there and did what they needed to do.
That's right.
But and practically saved that guy's saved his life,
Well,
saved Damar's life.
they
You
definitely
know,
saved his life.
so we
And
want to just give them some flowers.
we want to give him, all of them, all of the first responders, everybody that was around, that surrounded him, that gave them the space to work,
Mm-hmm.
the players that surrounded him, all of that was extremely helpful. Even the referees trying to figure out, okay, what's the
Right,
next step, all of
and
this.
not even that. How about just moving out of the way?
Yes.
Right,
Exactly. Exactly. Because there's no script for this.
right,
This is not something that we've dealt with before in this kind of magnitude. When you've got 60,000 or however many people in the stadium watching what's going on, and it's happening right before your very eyes. And right then, in that moment, how you behave defines your character.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've always said adversity helps you define your character,
Absolutely.
you know, because it's not about what you're like when things are going well.
Yeah.
It's about what kind of, what kind of person are you when it's not going well,
That split second.
in that split
That's
second. And in that split second, we saw a lot of people take action for first and foremost to save Damar's life,
mhm.
and secondly to control a situation that was ongoing and extremely psychologically traumatic for everybody who was watching.
Absolutely.
And that's something, if I might have a moment to kind of digress here a bit. If anybody doesn't know my background, um, I was an oncology nurse, and I became a psychotherapist. And my husband of 35 years was an ER doctor. So both of us have a fair amount of medical knowledge. That's not to say, we know what's going on with Damar. We don't. We only know what everybody else knows. But I'm sharing this because I have a little bit of experience in terms of working with clients, working with people who have gone through trauma. And because of that, there's a few things I'd like to share in terms of looking at this situation for how we as a fan base, how we move forward,
Hmm.
and what we can do, because we've always talked about Bill's Mafia,
Right.
being a family. And I think as family, like we are leaders, and we don't question why this happened. Okay, why did this happen? Well, we all know why it happened. It can happen, anything can happen on a football field.
Absolutely.
That it's a violent sport. We know that. We know there's risks associated with that. But the trauma that we all went through watching that is so big, because it's bigger than a lot of things that we may think about in terms of what it represents. What
Hmm.
does Damar in his situation represent? Look at this man. He was gloriously playing the game of his dreams,
Yep.
on Monday Night Football in front of millions and millions of people. And he was probably having the time of his life. And suddenly everything changed, and
Mhm.
here's all these people witnessing all of this trauma, his teammates right there watching him being resuscitated, flashing in their own minds to whatever trauma they may have experienced in their own lives. And that's my point. As a therapist, trauma affects everyone differently.
For
And
sure.
if you take away anything at all from post traumatic stress and understanding what happens when someone experiences post traumatic stress, you come to understand that everyone's journey in this is different.
Hmm.
And so what happened on television may have triggered so many other traumas and things that have happened to people. When you see something like this happening right before your very eyes, the first thing that happens in your own mind is, oh my gosh, here we go again. And the here we go again is whatever experience, whatever your story is. Because most of us have, if you've lived long enough, most of us have experienced a trauma of some sort,
Right.
and some may be more horrific than others. But it's not like comparing notes and saying,
My
this one
trauma
is
better
better
than
than
your
your
trauma.
trauma or
Right.
worse than your trauma. Trauma is trauma, and how we take it in and how we process it and bring it out is different from person to person. And
Right.
so what we have to do as a family, as a fan base, as a group of people who love each other and who have said we care about each other, this is the thing that we are noted for, right? Correct?
Right.
Bill's Mafia. Okay, if we are the example, if we are the leaders, then can we use this opportunity? Can we use this opportunity that's presented to us as a challenge to be role models for the rest of the world in terms of how to deal with trauma. And go ahead.
No, I was just listening to WGR, and someone, a caller said, and I'm probably paraphrasing this wrong, is that, when you're supposed to be the backbone of something, and you're just like, when is it my turn to just not be strong? And I feel Buffalo has had so many different events happening in these last 7 to 8 months, to where is it Buffalo's turn to not be strong? Because, I mean, from the shooting to Damar and everything in between, and I'm not saying I don't want to be, oh, pity Buffalo, because we're not that. Buffalonians are not that, and I know you're not that. It's just, when is it? Can I get a day off? You know what I mean? It's just,
Exactly.
And
that's absolutely, you can go back and list everything over the last year, but you can go further back, and Buffalonians are, we are our own breed, in that sense, and we have dealt with a lot. And I sometimes wonder, you hear the phrase that you're never given more than you can handle.
The bear. Mm-hmm.
And whether or not that's true, I don't know.
Right.
What I do know is that we have handled a lot, and we continue to handle a lot, and we're going to come through this and be okay.
Yes. Yes, we will.
Big thing we have to remember is to be loving and patient with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes is a challenge because when you're traumatized, many of us react in a different way. Some of us get mad, and some of us want to blame somebody, and some of us want to point fingers, and some of us, and in all honesty, that's what that person may need to do. And
right.
So, okay, if that's your thing and that's what you need to do, okay. But you have to think about the bigger picture in terms of, is what I'm doing helpful to the whole?
Right. Exactly.
Right. If I'm reacting in anger, is that going to do anything to really help Bill's Mafia, our fan base, collectively pull together and get through this? Because that's the bottom line, isn't it? Collectively, we need to show what we said we were. We say that we love each other and we care about each other and we're family and all of that.
Right.
Well, if that's the case, then we need to show that love and respect for each other that you would someone in your family, hopefully.
And I think, what I'm going to skip down here, and I want to go back up to your point, because I wanted to talk about Lisa Salter, that was on the ABC. She was the sideline reporter, and how she handled everything, and how you seen, I'm going to just do it now, how you seen emotional she was. She couldn't really get her words out. I mean, she was trying it. She did her best. And I just wanted to freaking give her a hug if I could, because you seen that she was just like, this was not something I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to do my best to try to pull through this, but it's hard. And when I seen that, because I love her, her sideline reporting is just
top notch.
She's on it, top notch for sure. And for her, and it was hard, and it was something that we've, as fans, never seen. We've seen things, but again, like I said when we were off mic, football is something you go to get your mind away from life. Football is entertainment for us fans. But when reality, something stops that and say, no, this is what's going on. This is life right now. Life right now, I'm hitting you in the face. And your entertainment has to stop. And for me, it was just like, wait a minute. And I'm not trying to put it on me or nothing like that. I've and all of us never seen it before. And I just want to give kudos to her, because it would have been easy for her to just say, give me a minute. I need a moment. Because I know all of us was like, I need a moment, because I know I'm not seeing what I'm seeing, because this is a football game. And we know players get injured. We understand that. But up to this magnitude, I don't think any of us would have thought it, seen it. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, because it was just something that I in my wildest dreams I would have never ever experienced, and let alone because he was fine. We thought, because he got up and then he flopped down, and I'm so happy. Thank you so much for not repeating it and repeating it and repeating it, because what they did it with Joe Theismann, and I will never forget that. As a kid watching that, Dad, why did they keep showing it? I don't know. So he turned it off because they kept showing it. You get desensitized when you keep seeing something over and over. And, oh, he just, that's just what it is. Oh, that's nothing. No, that was bad. That was bad. I mean, and I know it's on the internet, and I know you can go see it if you want. Choose not to go see it, because I've seen it for the first time. I don't need to go see it again, And I'm pretty sure, because Damar, his eyes are open. He's responding to his family members around him, which is awesome and great, because there's prayers work. I don't care what nobody say. Positive energy is where it's at. And I don't think he wants to go back and see that. Once they tell him what happened, I'm pretty sure he's like, nah, I'm good. I experienced it. I don't want to go and see it, So, yeah, I just wanted to say, I thought she did a fabulous job of holding it together and telling us kind of what she could tell us or what was going on the field.
She did do a fantastic job, and the ESPN commentators,
oh God,
flipping to, all of a sudden you have this 3-hour game.
Yeah,
there's like no game, and everybody did a professional job, and are definitely to be commended for functioning under pressure, because they all were functioning under pressure, that's for sure.
And Sean McDermott, man, what he was chose, or Buffalo chose him, whatever the case may be. This coach is supposed to lead these men. He's supposed to lead these men. He told the Bengals coach that I can't play this game. I need to be in the hospital with Damar. There was no inkling, okay, he gets in the ambulance, we'll play this game. He's I kind of knew, like we've never seen this. So I'm like, how are you going to play this game after that? You can't play. Like, I'm sitting in the living room with my wife, and I'm like, they can't play this game. There's no way they're going to play this. They cannot play this game. Because we've seen, they've played games before. They have done, like, okay, everything's good. Go back to the normal. You couldn't. You couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. And what a statement of leadership.
Absolutely.
On the part of both coaches,
yes,
the Bengals coach as well,
players,
the players, and for the people that were making comments about, the players were trying to get back out in the field and blah blah blah.
Oh, come on!
Nobody knew what to do at that point in time. Nobody knew what to do. There was no script for this.
This is real time.
Exactly, and to the coaches, both of them, to their credit, but I don't know Coach Taylor as well as I know from studying all the things that we've seen with Sean McDermott over the years. And I couldn't agree with you more in terms of having the right person at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
because I can't think of any coach that could lead a team through something like this better than Coach McDermott. I thought about that the other day. With all due respect, and I mean this sincerely, with all due respect to somebody like Rex Ryan, I think he would be completely at a loss in terms of how to lead a team through something like this. But Sean McDermott,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying, Rex Ryan or any other coach, they probably would have, check. They would have done what they knew they had to do. But Coach McDermott is leading his
Mm-hmm.
team emotionally through this process. When I saw yesterday that there was a Zoom call that was made between
Mm.
Damar's father
Yep.
and the team, I said to myself, this is Coach McDermott, and he knows what he has to do to help his team. And the thing that is foremost in his mind is his players and his team.
All right.
And he knows that he's a very spiritual man.
Mm-hmm.
Know that he knows that he is in this moment for a reason.
He
And
was walking, praying. You seen him walking and praying. He wasn't speaking to nobody but God that
exactly,
whole time. Like he's walking and just praying, and you just seen, like, I just seen Shaman. Like, I love Shaman. I met him for the first time when he actually came here. He was at a Sabres. No, it was a NCC basketball game, and he was actually the next. We were in the suite, and he was on the suite over, and I was like, "Oh, it's Sean McDermott. That's the new head coach." And my friend was like, "I know, right?" And I'm like, "I don't want to go over and say anything, but I'm so excited about this season. I'm like so excited." And she was like, "Well, just go over there." I'm like, "I'm not going over there." I said, "He's just chilling, and I don't want to bother him." So I just so happened to go out. I was going to go to the bathroom, I think. Can't even remember. And we kind of passed each other. So I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb now that I'm looking back on it. And I'm like, "Coach McDermott?" Like he knew who I was. And he turned, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so nice to meet you." I had to put my fan down. I was like, "It's so nice to meet you." He shook my hand and everything. I was just like, like Coach McDermott, like, yo, I ain't seen it. Like now that I'm looking back, it was dumb, but you know, yeah.
but it is, it's not dumb. It's total joy, and admiration for somebody that you truly respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he probably gets that a lot, because he, like Josh Allen, like Brandon Bean, like others that we can name, they're the right fit in Buffalo.
Oh yeah, just like Damar.
Damar.
So we spoke about this off mic, and I spoke about the fact that I go and I'm fond of players that people may not know. So, and Damar was on the radar of me, like doing some research on him, and I did research on some other players, and I always do because I love to hear their stories. Because you're not number one pick, you're not Stephon Diggs, you're not Josh Allen, you're not all these other players, Cole Beasley, you're Damar Hamlin. So I took a bond with him and looked on his draft picks. He was picked late, very, very late. I seen his draft party. I seen he had a brother. It was just, and he came from Pitt. And, Pittsburgh is like Buffalo.
Yes.
So he fit right in. He fit right into Bills Mafia, Buffalo. It was just, and I just do it every year. Like I will pick some players that I will do research on, and off season on my other pod, I'll tell Mike, I'm like, "Listen, I got 4 players. I want us to do highlight."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "All right, cool." So Damon was one of them. And he's just everything that everybody is saying about Damar. It is just, he lights up a room, and you don't want to be like, this is certain things happen to people to wake other people up. But I believe in this case, Damar's spirit and who he is, it's waking us up because as a like he's on what the New York Times, I think it is, as America's son.
Yes.
What?
The New York Post. I mean, the backside, I saw that page and I was like, wow, okay.
Right? That's insane, but
That's
crazy and beautiful.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
It is. And there's so many things that we can learn and we can do to make the situation better. We do have some control, and the control we have is how we treat each other.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I would ask is that people be patient, and no matter how you see someone react, whether you think it's appropriate or not appropriate, or whatever you think is what you think. And right now, maybe the best thing we can do is just be loving and patient with each other.
When we first started this podcast, the word was grace and grateful. These words are coming full circle. We're using these words over and over and over again. And it's no fluke. I'm sorry.
No,
it's no fluke. It's no
not.
fluke.
And gratitude is something that we can all aspire to, in terms of, every day when I catch myself getting into a rabbit hole, I don't want to be in. That's what I do, is quickly shift my mind to, what can you be grateful for?
Exactly.
You don't need to be in a negative mood state. And negativity is like ripples in a pond.
Absolutely.
And
it attach itself to something and won't let go. And you don't need that.
We can all be the agent of change in terms of taking a negative and either neutralizing it or turning it into a positive.
Absolutely.
If we set that as a goal and try to be less judgmental, and that's always an effort, because we're all, as human, beings, judgmental. But it isn't the judgments we make that matter. It's what we do with them. And in most cases, the best thing we can do is just be quiet, and let things evolve, instead of trying to control them by inserting your opinion one way or the other. Sometimes I think it's good to just take a step back and let something be, rather than feel like you have to insert your opinion or whatever to the situation.
Right.
And there's just so much. I think, yes, the word great grace comes into this again. Be gracious. The word gracious. Be gracious to one another. If we can do that, I think it'll make it easier to get through each day. And all of us are just trying to get through each day with respect to this situation. And it kind of segues into what you and I talked about in terms of moving forward. How do we move forward now? We're getting good news, which is encouraging. Good news about Damar, and he's making progress, and we can all, take solace in that. But this is still an ongoing situation.
Absolutely.
And there is another game the Bills have on Sunday against the Patriots. And they have to get ready. We have to get ready as a fan base. How do we do this? Do we switch gears in our mind and think, okay, let's do this for Damar?
Right.
Like, the players go out and play. But let me just add one thing. Don't you think the tone at the stadium on Sunday is going to be very important?
I think so too. I think I would just love to be there, and I just can't do crowds. But it probably would be like some healing for some people.
Yes.
To be amongst your family, because where it happened, we were away. and now we're coming home, and now we're seeing each other, and now we can embrace each other. Now we can just go as a team on this field, a fan and team on the field as a family, and
Exactly.
do what we need to do for Damar. And nice segue, I like that. And doing what we need to do, and if also too, there's a GoFundMe for Damar, chasing M's. If you haven't, if you can, if you can't, don't be obligated to do it. It's over $6.6 million right now,
Yep.
and
I heard. Yeah.
that's insane. And he's, I
Amazing.
don't know where that's gonna go. I don't pretend to know any of that, but if you can, if you can't, continue to pray, but just continue to pray regardless. And I just seen that Harrison Phillips provided meals for the family and the people that was helping out Damar down there, which is awesome. Once you're a Bills player, you're always a Bills.
Yes. All
So
family.
yeah.
You
So
know,
I seen that, and I was just like, Harrison Phillips is the man. He's the man.
he's
So
another
yeah.
person who leads. His actions speak louder, than his words. And, that's the way I wish I could be.
Mm,
I think that's a great thing to strive for. Um, he's an exceptional leader.
absolutely.
He's a leader. He's in the forefront, always thinking, what's the next thing? Okay, what do we
And,
need to do to take care of the situation? Always thinking, one
mhm,
step about another person, another human being, not
right.
thinking about himself, but thinking about others.
And
Uh,
absolutely. And I mean, I'm pretty sure there's things behind the scenes that we don't know what's going on, and people are stepping up for the family, and we love to hear that, because he's going to need it. Like, they're going to need it. Like, when everything is, I'm not saying shut down and everybody, all the cameras are off, the TVs, the guys, the news crew is gone. He's still going to need us praying for him, his family praying for him. So even though the cameras are gone and the news crews are gone, we're still going to be there praying for the Damar Hamlin and his family. So
we
yeah,
are. We are. And that's the best thing that we can do moving forward. And just know that there are a lot of hurting people out there. And the way that they're hurting may be very different and may not even be related to what happened on Monday night.
mm-hmm.
Um, because again, sometimes when bad things happen, it triggers memories and experiences that people have as they go through life. And this is a big challenge, but it's not a challenge that I think is too big for us.
No,
I
no.
honestly believe if this had to happen to any team, fan base, whatever, player,
Mm-hmm.
it happened in a place with a team that's a family, a brotherhood, and a fan base that it is truly like no other. And if we are truly like no other, then maybe we need to lead the way in terms of showing the rest of the world how you come together under these kind of circumstances and do the right thing
Right.
all the time.
Absolutely. And speaking of the right thing and doing the right thing, if you want to, on Sunday, at the tailgate, it's a drop box. If you want to send a card to Damar, you can go there, and also there's an address. So I'm gonna tag this picture onto this our podcast, and you guys can get the address and send the cards. And if you're going to the tailgate, you can drop it in the Dropbox for Damar. Send them loves that way. Send them some positive energy. The family still needs it. He's going to need it after he gets out of the hospital. From what they're saying, everything's a go. But I mean, he's still, of course, there's a long road. But there was no really, as of right now, I don't want to speak out of turn or out of like I don't know what's going on, but I think for right now he's doing well.
Exactly. And I would encourage everyone to understand that the reason why you don't get updates is because there truly isn't anything
Yeah.
new to report. And
And that's
sometimes,
good.
exactly. I was sometimes no news is good news, in that respect. And so we all have to be patient because we won't know for a bit in terms of what Damar's future is going to look like.
Yeah.
And so we all have to be very, very patient with this process because it takes time. And again, the information that we have is so limited. We don't really know much in terms of his exact medical situation.
Hmm.
When they use terms like someone is neurologically intact, is that good? Oh, yes, that's very good. But it doesn't give you very many specifics, in terms of, okay, being neurologically intact, what does that mean? Does that
And,
mean
and and that's so crazy because for me, if that was I won't even say it, but I'm like, all right, speak to me like I'm a first grader. What does that mean, doctor? You know what I'm saying? It's like, so, but I
right,
understand kind of what it means. And it's great to hear. It's like, and I
good
think
news?
the players needed something,
Yes, we all
right?
need
We
something.
all needed something because let's be honest, no one was thinking about Sunday. Nobody's thinking about Sunday. I know they're practicing today, and I know the media is going to speak to them today. And I don't even know if that's good, but because it's just like I don't, I that was Monday, and I'm going to relive that again with you, and I don't know if I want to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I've moved on. I'm just saying those are raw emotions, raw feelings, and I don't know if I want to go there again.
Exactly. And one of the good things about that, T, is that you're expressing something really important, and that is every one of us gets saturated at a different point. We get triggered at a different point.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens, whatever, at that point. And the most important thing at that point is self care,
Right.
is to do what you just said. It's like, I can't deal with this. You walk away, you take a breath, you do whatever you need to do at that moment to rebalance and,
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable within yourself.
Right.
Um, and for every person that, that may be different. And that's why I think it's so important for all of us to remember to be patient with one another, because however we react, we may just be in a state of anger or, who knows what. And we have to give each other the space to do whatever we need to do.
Absolutely.
Sometimes some people need to vent, sometimes, but what we don't need to do is to reflect any negativity from it. Just let it be,
Yeah.
and let people be whatever
And
they
you
need to be.
right. And it's like Twitter can be a great place at times, and also can be a nasty place as well. And I'm just happy I didn't see some of the stuff that people are talking about. I just seen some of the positive in it, and I kind of just want to stay there with it because again, this was an accident that happened that no one would ever imagine. So
And that's what, to go to what you're saying, these are the things that happen in life. Things do happen in life that are unexpected and sometimes horrific, and how we react to them defines like who we are as
mhm,
a person. And so um I think as a fan base, we pride ourselves in being compassionate and, family, all those terms that you want to use. Well, this is where we need to bring out the compassion that we have. We need to
yes.
be as compassionate with each other as we can be, because this is hard.
Yes. Yes, for sure. It definitely is. Well, we don't want to keep you guys any longer. Again, I'm going to attach the flyer to this episode. And if you can, donate to Damar's Chasing M's and do the cards as well. Send them some good good vibes his way. Continue to pray for the family of Damar. Yeah. And I appreciate you. I do. I
I
do.
love you.
Yes,
And I
yes.
love everybody out there that's listening to this. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of our broadcast. And I think that as we go, we're going to have some more interesting journeys along the way. And I'm just very grateful to T for providing the format, but also being who you are.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know, I don't like that.
No, you don't. That's why I did it. Thank
But guys, thank you for listening. I mean, thank you for listening. Look at me. Thank you for listening. This will drop on Friday. Always, it's Go Bills, right?
Go Bills.
Peace, y'all.